Two sides, same mic, episode 5. It's your boy, KidJScott. I'm here with my fabulous co-host,
Leah Tanner.
We are here, episode 5. We are blessed. Leah, how you been?
I've been good. I'm feeling refreshed. I just got back from a trip. I was in Philadelphia.
You always traveling.
Yes, always traveling. I was in Philly, so I feel a little bit refreshed. And it's crazy that it's already, the holidays are coming up. So just getting ready for that stuff and all of the fun stuff to go with that.
Did you try a cheesesteak?
I did not. So
what? I really not try a cheesesteak.
I know. Okay, so I wish they had like a chicken one or like they had like, I don't know, although it wouldn't be the same thing because I don't eat meat. I only eat chicken. But
Okay.
yeah, so I did not eat a Philly cheesesteak. And I was with my mom. We did like our early birthday trip. I was trying to get her to eat one, but she doesn't eat them either. So we did not eat Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh, wow.
But it was a great time, great trip.
Good.
Fell in love with Philly.
That's what's up.
Yeah. How have you been?
I have been great. For the first time, I feel like I'm focused. I have been 14 days sober, so
Wow.
that is cool. That's cool.
That's a big one for you.
Yeah, it has been, and it's cool because I always say this, like the podcast is my therapy. So we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna get into just what I've been going through since we've basically started this podcast, how I've been feeling, and just all that. So I'm gonna just go from pretty much the beginning.
Right. Yeah. Let catch some of the people up who maybe haven't been with us since the first episode and let them know a little bit about that.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like with you being single, newly single after being in a relationship.
So I feel like we started the podcast maybe like 2 or 3 months after I broke up with my ex, and
Pretty soon,
I've
yeah.
been getting used to being single since then. And one thing I always like to say is how this podcast is like my therapy. Like obviously I've seen a therapist, but this is really like my therapy. And it's cool because I didn't really post that much on social media like prior to having a podcast, having a YouTube channel, and now I get a lot more engagement. So it's like I actually posted how like I'm starting my sobriety journey, and I'm not crazy. Like I'm not about to be sober forever, but it's just like
Right.
a reset. It's kind of like a thing to tell myself like, you can do this. Like you don't just need to rely on alcohol all the time. So it's cool because I've been getting a lot of engagement. Like I think I got like more likes than I ever had on like my journey, the sobriety journey. And then a few people actually messaged me and was like, you should talk about this like in a vlog for your channel. And I was
Love
like,
that.
I think I do want to talk about it, but I'd rather bring it, here because this is like more of my therapy session, and I could also get, like your take of everything.
I love that.
So long story short, the journey I've been going through is, again, I felt like when I was first single, it was like I was cool. I was like working on myself. I was working out. I lost like a bunch of weight, and everything was going in the right path. But then I really don't know where it happened, but somewhere just like I felt like maybe I was needing to like fill this void. So I start going on like this spiral roller coaster, just like drinking all the time because it's so easy in this town. There's just so much temptation. So I just remember like going out all the time because it's easy to get off work and just let's go have a drink. And at this point I'm just meeting different women here and there, and it's just like let's go out to drink. Let's get shots in. And it just got to the point where at first it just seemed like, this is normal. Like this is Vegas. Everyone does that. Then it started hitting me because there was like one day where I was out till like I want to say like 1:30 a.m. or 1:30 p.m. So literally I had to start drinking after work. It's like I start drinking at midnight and I'm out and it's 1:30 p.m. So it gets to the point where I'm just like, I need to like go home. I got to be at work at 3:30. It's 1:30. Like I got to work at 3:30. And of course I wake up to 6 missed phone calls. It's like 6 o'clock. My manager called me, my coworker called me. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm never late. So they're thinking like, something happened because a lot of people around me, they kind of see that like, I'm partying a lot. So they think maybe something happened. Anything could happen. You know what I mean? So that was one thing that kind of hit me because I was like, damn, like I take work and my money so serious. And I pretty much risked my job, at that point. So, but my manager, he was really cool about it. He was just like, bro, what happened? I was like, I'm not gonna lie. I just woke up. He was like, it's 6 p.m. I was just like, I know, man. I messed up. I'm sorry. So then, this was like a while ago. This was like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Then this most recent time, I'm realizing that, all right, I'm spiraling out. I'm good. So I get off work. So I go to my normal bartender. I go to my normal bar and I'm just like, hey, I'm only going to have one drink today, one drink, and then I'm out. So I cash him out because he knows I'm going to have one drink and I'm leaving. So literally, I can't make this up. I'm there for maybe 10 minutes and then this young lady walks up, sits next to me, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. She makes a joke at me. I make a corny joke, and the next thing you know, we're in the Uber to go to another bar, and then we're at this other bar chilling, me, her, and her friends drinking. Then we end up going back to the Airbnb. So at this point, I realized like I don't have my phone, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like, so I'm like, can I use your phone real quick? So I go to find my iPhone. And I don't know why, because I'm kind of lit. So I see my iPhone's at the bar. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just go back and get it later. Like it's in a safe spot. Like I don't know why. I should have just called the bar and be like, hey, can you give me? I don't know. I just wasn't thinking. So then I go back because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be that long. So of course it's like 6 a.m. I'm at the Airbnb till like noon. So by the time I get back, she drops me off to get my phone. I find my iPhone through her phone, and I realize that I was 15 minutes too late. Like it was just active 15 minutes ago. Someone obviously like took my phone, turned it off because it was
No.
fully charged. I remember charging it right before I went out. So I was just like, So at this point, this is already like, man, I'm already because of the alcohol and because of like me chasing all these women. It's like I've already messed up in my job, which they were cool about, thank goodness. I lost my phone. So obviously I had to, like spend money to get a whole new phone. So I'm just like, this is like becoming expensive, because
Definitely.
it's like I'm drinking, I'm spending all this money and just all that. So then that wasn't it. So then like I remember there was a few days later where same thing. It's like I had met some ladies. We're at the bar and we're just like chilling till 6 a.m. And I'm drinking. And this is that one day I hit you up because I was like, I'm hungry. So I go to eat and I'm so like beyond lit at this point. So I'm at the ramen place. That's like my favorite food, ramen. So I'm at the ramen place and I'm just like, it's like 3 a.m. Why is there so many people there? And then I'm like, wait, it's not 3 a.m. It's 3 p.m. I am tripping. Like it's 3 p.m. And it's just like this is when I realized like reality and like this void I'm trying to fill is just like fusing together. So then I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna just put down this bottle. Like I'm straight. So I had to have a one-on-one with myself because throughout this whole time, like I'm always trying to better myself. So I'm always thinking like, what is this void I'm trying to fill? Like why am I spiraling out all of a sudden? Like I already know like that I'm not really meeting like a long-term potential partner.
Right.
I'm basically like these women are just temporary satisfaction, and like what is this void I'm trying to fill? So I had to have a one-on-one with myself because I'm obviously we had the podcast about healing. Everyone's asking about healing, and I'm like, oh, like if we broke up on the 8th, then I'm on to the next on
You're
the
out
ninth
on
or
the
whatever.
ninth. Yes.
So I'm like, man, am I really healed? So that's what I'm thinking of, and I'm just like, I'm having a one on myself, and I'm like, I really feel like I'm healed. I feel like that I don't really care about my ex. So it's just like, but what am I trying to like feel? And then I finally realized it's like my first relationship, I was with her for 10 years and I was a kid, I was like 17. Then the second relationship was 4.5 years. And then there was two in between that they weren't like official relationships, but they were still like women that I basically took serious. So then it hit me, it's just like, I don't know how to be single. Like,
Ooh.
so I feel like that's my problem. That's what I'm learning because there's always, since I've been 17 years old, there's always been someone there, someone who I can talk to all day, someone who is just there. So it's like, I just don't know how to be single. So that's my new thing. That's why it's like lately, like I haven't been responding to any women really. It's just like, I've just been really focused on myself. I put the bottle down. Like I said, it's temporary, but it's just something that I need to know that I can do it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like you said so many powerful things in that story. It's like, I don't know where to start first because
Yeah.
there's like so many things. So I guess like from, like the healing journey part, right? And, like you're joking around, but well, kind of you were serious too, a little bit on the healing part, right? Breaking up with somebody at 8th, meeting someone being with somebody on the 9th, right? And how I was kind of asking, like, oh, like, do you think, like, for men, like, is that, like, you know, what does it look like for men? Because I know for, like, women, it's differently. And yes, I know everybody heals differently, but literally, like, days after being in, like, a 4-year relationship, right? Like, you know, there's obviously going to be some, like, you have to do some healing, right?
Yeah.
And then, so like, kind of like you were saying, like going out like with these women and like now that like you have like the realization, right? Like you were with somebody for like a really long time. And like, do you think just like well, I guess like, have you ever been in like that phase where you've like allowed yourself to like heal from like, you know, like one relationship to the next relationship?
So that's what I was also thinking about. I thought about this on the way over here. I was like, I remember there was a time where I was single. I didn't worry about anyone else and I was happy, but it was because the only real time that I was basically didn't have anyone there, COVID was there. So it was just like, it kind of forced me to just be in the house. Like it wasn't like I had the choice. So I feel like that the one time that I'm not focused on having someone there is COVID. So it's like they're forcing me to just stay inside and to kind of not have anyone there. So I feel like it kind of was it kind of screwed me overall because it's like I was forced to. I didn't get to realize that on my own.
Right. And then like another thing that you were saying too is, you know, like you've been in relationships more than you've been like single, right? So
100%.
like you said, like 17 when you got into your first like long-term relationship, now you're 36, not to give your age out to everybody.
Edit that
out. Yeah, edit that one out. But so, right, so like a long time of being in a relationship with somebody and then now you're like 36 and you're single. So like you grow a lot from like 17 to 36 as a person, right? Like there's like a lot of growth, a lot of different things. And then now like getting to like now that you're single, right? And you can, you know, like, you know, figuring out more like about yourself and like growing, right? Because you're not the same person that you were at 17, like when you were last single. So like, I think that, like, I think that's like a big part too, like with, you know, like healing and like getting to know yourself more too. And just with singleness in general, like being able to have like that time, especially after you've been in a relationship for a long time, like, you know, getting to know who you are without like the other person, right?
Yeah.
But so yeah, I think there's just like a lot of different things there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this 'cause a lot of guys won't admit this, but it's like when you get out of a relationship, it's kind of like you have all these things going through your mind, like it's well, this is how I think, because obviously, again, like I've always been in a relationship, so when I want to say a few, maybe like not right after I broke with my girl, but shortly after, it's like I'm thinking, who's gonna be the next one? Like I got to make sure, like I got to find one that's even more like better than that one. I got to find a more beautiful girl. I got to find someone else. You know what I mean? So that was always like my thought process. And at first it's kind of like, because at the end of the day, after 4.5, 5 years, 4 years, or even the first one after 10 years, like you said, you grow and it's not always, you know, good. Like some people's hairlines start receding. Some people gain weight. So it's just like, am I even still that guy? So at first, in that phase when you first become single, you're kind of just like, do I still have it? So I feel like that's why it was also so easy for me to just start spiraling out, because at first it's like I wouldn't necessarily say I'm striking out, but it's just like I'm just out and nothing's happening. So then the first time when you're just like, oh wow, you get that girl that you didn't think you were gonna get, and you're just like, oh, this actually wasn't hard. This was easy. And then you're like, I still got it. And then you just start. It just becomes so easy to become a quote unquote degenerate.
Okay. And then like another point on that too, like with, you know, dating, I know you had mentioned before, like since you've been single and you've been like dating, that you let people know that you've got out of a relationship. It's like nothing serious. But do you think for you, like in that, like while you're still technically healing, right? Like it's been a while since you've been out of a relationship. So do you think that like when you are, even though you're telling these women that, you know, you're not looking for a relationship or whatever, do you see how there can be, like, yes, it is the other women's, you know, like if they're committing to hanging out with you, whatever, all that after knowing that. But do you also see how it can be like eventually, like it can, like if this person that you're with, like if you guys, for women, because we do grow feelings fast, right? How it can like eventually hurt them too, like in the long term with like that. Or have you never thought of that?
Oh no, for sure. Because since my ex, all these women, they've been either tourists or they've just been like people who, again, temporary satisfaction. They know what it is, blah blah. But there's the one who I always talk about, and I do feel sometimes like that. I don't want to hurt her. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that's why lately, like now that I'm sober, I have not even responded because it's just like I'm eventually gonna probably sit down and maybe talk to her, but it's just like I just don't think I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like I'm learning what we talked about being single, and she's gonna hate me. But like for instance, the other day, this is when I knew it was getting too far. Like I remember, I think this was Halloween. Oh yeah, I think this was Halloween. She was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm at this Halloween party," because I got invited to like this influencer party or whatever. So I went to this Halloween party, and she was like, "Oh, thanks for the invite." And I was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "So what are you about to do?" And I was just like, "Oh, sorry, like I didn't realize, like I don't know, I made up something. I forgot exactly what happened." But she was like, "Oh, what are you about to do?" And I was like, "I'm probably gonna go downtown, blah blah blah." And she was like, "Oh, well, should I meet you downtown? Should I just like go to your house?" And I was like, or she was like, "Should I just go home?" So in my brain, I'm just like, "Girl, like." Go home. Like I got plans. Like, so go home. So then, and she's never reacted like this. She never reacted like this. And she just blew up my phone. She was just like, wow. She was just like, I'm done. I'm over this. She was like, I'm not some third string hoe. Like, you always just hit me up on your time and I'm just over it, blah, blah. So obviously again, like I'm lit. So I was just like, my response was just, okay.
Oh my
I
God.
know. So then she was like, wow, what did I ever do to you deserve to be treated like this? So then I was just like, you're tripping right now. And that was it. And then she didn't respond for like 4 hours. And then she responded. She was like, oh, hey. She was like, I'm at the bar. Do you want to come have a drink? So I was like, sure. So we just met up and I was like, wow, this is the most toxic shit ever. So I was just like, yeah, this is kind of crazy.
And so this is the one, just to catch up the people who are just maybe if they're just tuning into this episode, this was the one that you said was the number one on your roster, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it can. And I think like for me personally, like kind of how I was talking about a little bit in the episode that we were talking about healing, right? Like I do think it's like very important because like although you feel like maybe you're not like it's not doing anything for you, like feelings get involved. And so like in her, you know, like for her, like it did, right? Like you hurt her in a way. So I think that like that can sometimes be something that I think with just like dating, like in, you know, now in today's society, right? Like, I think that can be like a thing. And then can make women like, I don't know, there's all kinds of things that can come with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it just makes it, you know, harder for the other person too. So that, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, yeah, for sure. But that was like my main thing. I just wanted to get on here and express how I feel and just kind of be like the staple for other men to just sometimes you got to take a step back and you got to look at how you're feeling. You got to look at what's real. You got to look at what you can do to better yourself. And it's okay to whether I mean, obviously we've started a podcast, so now I've become more of a public person. So I don't mind telling the world, but maybe if you don't want to tell someone, like, hit up your friends, you know what I mean? Because you have friends for a reason. And my friends are always like, oh, well, if you're going through something, you know, we can always talk. So I do. I call my friends and tell them what I'm going through. And I just feel like more people need to do that. Whether you need to seek a therapist, maybe whatever you're going through, you're embarrassed to tell your friends, but you just gotta. We're in a world where you just gotta better yourself, and it's hard out here. So you gotta better yourself. You gotta talk to someone, and it's okay to recognize your mistakes and try to fix them, because that's what I'm doing. Like, it took me a while. This whole podcast, I didn't realize, and then literally like just 2 weeks ago, I was just like, wow, I don't know how to be single, and it's okay. It's okay, and that's what I'm working on. And
yeah, but like I love that you like realized it, right? And now that you're in this new like journey of just being by yourself and in that time, which I think can be right, like in that time when it's, especially when it's new, right? Like you're sitting by yourself, like getting to know yourself more, you know, different things now that you're single and stuff like that. But I also think there's like such a powerful thing about like a single season, which I think that maybe like society doesn't really I don't know, I think society really doesn't make it look that way, right? Or like sometimes gives it like a bad like rep. I don't know if you've ever felt like that way before, but I feel like there's so much that you can learn like about yourself and like bettering yourself like in your single season if you use it well.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about like just the powerfulness of like singleness, right? Like being able to just like be by yourself, sitting by yourself, learning about yourself, and just like all the different things. So I think for you, like, is there anything? I know you said this is like new for you, but like, is there like specific things that you want to do, or just like specific goals like in this time, like while you're single? Just
Oh yeah, because like I said, it's only been like I feel 14 days or whatever, and I feel like I've learned so much more in 14 days. Because again, like when it comes to these other women, because obviously now I'm getting a lot more recognized. Like I made a post on Facebook the other day. You think you laughed at it, but it was like it's true. Like some people, the other day I was at a bar and this girl was just like, "Oh, you look familiar," and I'm not used to this. I was just like, "Oh, I work here, blah blah," and she's like, "Oh my god, I've been wanting to go there." So we end up like getting each other's information. And I was like, "Yeah, just come through. Like I got you, blah blah." And then at the end, she was just like, "But I know you from somewhere else," and I was just like, "Where?" And then she literally pulled up my TikTok and she's like, "This is you. I seen your podcast," and I was like, "Oh, this is like crazy." So I'm getting used to people actually recognizing me. So sometimes I'll get lit and I'll just be like, "Oh, I think I'm like rich." So I'll just start buying shots and going to the next bar. And it's sometimes it gets very expensive. So one thing, like for instance, I've been wanting to start like streaming, and I've streamed before, but I wanted to get like a legit setup. So just these last 14 days, it's like I was like looking at my funds and I was like, I actually have extra money. So I finally pulled through. I bought a monitor, I bought a desk, I bought pretty much LED lights. I got an LED lamp so I can actually start streaming. And I was just like, wow, it's only been 2 weeks of me focused on myself, and I've already saved enough money to get what I need to stream. And it kind of puts in perception like, what else could I like save up for? You know what I mean? Like this is the first year where I didn't go on at least 3 vacations. Like last year, I went to San Diego, I went to LA, I went to New York, and I went to Miami. And this year, I've only been to Houston. And looking at it, I was like, oh, this is my fault, because I could have been somewhere. Because I've been just seeing how much money I've been spending. And just in these 14 days, I've realized, like, wow, I can like save more money, and I can just be more focused on myself, focused on the channel, focused on everything. So that's my goal, is just to see how much more I can basically conquer. Because, like, I've seen in just the whole 14 days, I've seen a huge difference already.
Yeah, which I feel like, when you're single, like the only limits that you have are like the ones that you put on yourself, right? Like that, or at least that's how I feel. Yeah. Like I feel like it's like a time that you can use very well, like, go towards all of your goals, all that stuff, just really focus on you and just everything you want. Like, cause the only thing that's going to get in the way is yourself. That's how I feel anyways. So yeah, I think it's a great time.
Yeah. Because women are a distraction. I'm just kidding.
Men are also a distraction too. So so it's just a time where like you are not distracted. I mean, if you are, it's like the distractions you give yourself, right? The distractions that you allow. So I just think it's just like an awesome time to just be able to go full force in everything you've ever wanted or whatever. Just
so now, how's your take on the whole singleness? Because sometimes I look at your social media and I'm like, wow, you're always traveling, you're always just seems like you're having a blast, and you're single.
Yes. So I think that I've been single for a while, but so I think that I would say like since the last person was like 5.5 years.
Oh wow.
But for me, like I think that there's a lot of like I could go back and forth with it, right? Because like I've been single for a really long time. Of course, I dated like a lot of people like in between, but I think that there's just so much, right? Like I think you can, and it's also like your perspective and how you view it too, right? Like, so I think that there's times where yes, like I love everything about it, but there's times where I feel like when it is like when you're like maybe prolonged singleness. Sometimes that's when it can get harder, but I do feel like there's so many great things about it. Of course, like you still, eventually, like I want to get married one day, obviously. So, but I do feel like there's like a lot of great benefits, just kind of like working on like everything I want to do. And then like if the right person comes along, then, it's going to happen. But just like, focusing just on, it's just a time where I can just focus on myself, like my goals, things that I want to do. But not to say that it's like not ever like hard. Like I feel like there's like certain seasons where it can be harder than other times. But yeah.
So what are the pros and cons of prolonged singleness?
So I would say freedom, like because you have just all this freedom, all like again, just like all this time to just really just go after whatever you want. Like, I mean, if I if I want to go on a trip to like Africa tomorrow, like the only thing that's getting in the way is again either myself or maybe not having enough PTO time. But just all the just you can do just whatever. So I think it's like a great time to just focus on yourself and just get to know who you are, right? And then you said, what are the goals?
The pros and cons.
Oh, pros and cons. So the cons of singleness, prolonged singleness, I think one of them can be like when you've been single for so long, I feel like it can be harder sometimes to let someone in if you've been like by yourself for so long. I feel like it can be harder to let somebody into your space because you're so used to, just doing like your own thing, not having to, answer to nobody, just, doing your own thing and then not having anybody else stress you out, right? Yeah. Any of that stuff. But so I feel like after like you've been single for so long, or the prolonged singleness, it can just be harder to let somebody in. And then in a way it can just be harder too. Like I feel like it makes, for me, I feel like sometimes it makes my standards like a little higher too. Like, cause I'm like, okay, like if you're gonna, just like come into my life, like I need, like there's just, I feel like for me, sometimes it makes like the standards a little bit higher personally for me.
Yeah. So when you say sometimes it's harder to let someone in, is it just because you're just used to being single for so long, or is it because I know a lot of times people always like compare people like to their ex. Is that something that you encounter, or is it just because of you just being single for so long?
For me, I think it's just from being single for so long. So yeah, because like once you're, it's getting used to having that person like back in your life, right? Like dividing up your time, like things like that. And it comes with a bunch of other things too. But like, I think that's some of the main ones for me. I don't think it's like comparing to the last person. No. I feel like for me, like the only time that I compare somebody to the last person is for in the past, like if I have dated someone or been in a relationship, and then if I try to, while I'm still in that heartbreak healing phase, right? And then when I've tried to date somebody after, like that is the only, which is to me the worst time, like, to date someone. So that is the time that like I would definitely compare somebody, and that's not.
See, I feel like for me sometimes it's and I'm trying to get away from that because a new girl is going to be their own person, but a lot of times maybe because it's so fresh, I do make little comparisons. And I'm just like, oh, she does that, like my ex didn't do that, and it's just like, and I shouldn't do that. So that's another thing I'm trying to learn, because I feel like right now I just compare everything, looks, what they do for a living, like how they carry themselves, all that. Okay.
And so what do you think it is for you that makes you like compare?
Again, I feel like it's just, I just want like something better. Like I want an overall, like let's just say my ex was overall 8.5 or 9. Like I just want that 10 now. And I just feel like I compare because it's like, I just want them to be better in every aspect.
Okay. So you don't like see like so when you say that though, like what is, I guess, because people can be 10 in a different aspect, right? But so you're just talking about like overall, like with everything, or just like in certain areas?
I feel like right now with everything, because it's like my ex, she was 10 years younger than me, but she had like a good savings. She had a good credit score. She had a really good job. and she knew how to save money. So those are like some of the things I always look at,
Okay.
because I felt like even though she was such a young age, she kind of, she kind of had everything going for her. So it's just like sometimes my standards are just a little bit higher because I'm like, oh, you don't have a savings? Ooh. Like, oh, wait, you work there? Ooh.
Which I think sometimes the standards, right? Like those are not like bad things, right? I think like you have to have like, certain standards, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's just whatever is your standards are
Yeah.
yours, but they're going to be different from somebody else. But I think like having those standards are important.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
The only thing, the one thing I also compare like for the betterness, because me and my ex, we never like partied that much, and I just feel like at least 1 to 2 times a month I need to go be a degenerate with my partner. Like I need to go gamble, I need to go get pretty drunk and just have a great night. And she really wasn't about that. So that's why sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah. But sometimes these girls want to be a degenerate too much. Like I feel like there's moderation's key.
Right. The balance is important.
Yeah.
Being able to have fun, because that's also not like everybody's thing too.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, healthy balance.
Exactly.
It's always good. Balance is everything.
Sometimes I also think this podcast is going to be the reason I'm single forever.
Why?
Just because. Oh my God. Just my lifestyle, how I look at my views is crazy sometimes.
You're growing, right? You're healing and growing.
That's what this podcast is about. Growth. And
Yes.
hopefully y'all can grow with me.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that. So I wanted to answer a question that actually came in. I had put it on Instagram asking about any questions for us. So this was one of my top favorite questions that I wanted to ask about and talk about. So what are like the top 3 for you, top 3 qualities that you look for in a partner?
And a partner? Oh, top 3? Definitely. I'm gonna give each one in my example. So definitely loyalty, like obviously. But yeah, I just feel like, especially like in Vegas, like I feel like a lot of women, because let's be honest, Vegas is one of the few cities, maybe Vegas, Miami, New York, where as long as you're pretty, you don't even have to go to school. You can be a high school dropout and make 6 figures in Vegas. So I feel like it sucks because these women have a different like because they can just make money from men looking pretty. So sometimes I feel like that you can flirt to a certain extent, but sometimes they just take it too far because they're just so money hungry. So I need someone that's loyal. So that's like my biggest thing is I want someone that's loyal and that's gonna always be honest. That's like my biggest trait is loyalty. I feel like second is communication, because I feel like a lot of people, let's just say, my ex would do this a lot. Like let's just say I would do something, right? Like I ain't gonna lie, I would do something, and let's just say like October, and then I kid you not, I remember we were like, this is a true story. I remember I did something in October. We went to New York together and everything, and we came back. She was like, "Oh, by the way, you did this," and I was just like, that happened so long ago. I don't even remember like the mind state I was in. I'm sorry, I guess. And she just blew up, and I was just like, why did you sit on this for so long? Like, why don't you just? Because I'm going to address it when it happens. Like, as soon as it happens, we're going to address it. We're going to communicate. We're either going to agree to disagree or try to do better. But I just at least need that communication, because I don't want you to crash out later for something I did 2-3 months ago just because now you're in a mood.
Communication is everything. Communication's very important.
Yeah.
And also to like respect, loyalty, like of course, those are all very important things. That I would say, of course, that I would want on mine too. But for me, my number one.
Let me go my third. And then my third is just someone that supports me. Like I feel like now, between me being a bartender, between the whole YouTube thing, like I live a different lifestyle now, and I just want someone to support what I do. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's probably why my last 2 exes, we didn't work out, because of support. Because back in my first relationship, I used to do music. So for instance, I remember my first relationship, she bought me a microphone. She bought me like studio headphones, like if she wanted me to do music. And then I'll never forget when I had did my first show, I was like super super excited, and then she was all pissed off because there was like girls there who I used to talk to in the past or whatever, and it was just like I can't stop them from coming. Like, it's not like I even invited them. Like, you can go to my social media, but it was almost like at the end of the day she ruined one of my what should have been one of the happiest moments of my life, and I felt like she ruined it because of she didn't support me. And that happened quite a few times, and it almost makes it like, wow, like, do I want to choose my family or this lifestyle? And it's just like, at the end of the day, it didn't work out anyway. So I feel like all that time was wasted, and I could have put all that energy towards that.
Okay. So for me, I think that I would say for my top three, like, my number one for me is that I want somebody that has the same faith as me, shares the same faith. So that's like a huge one for me. And I feel like, like in the past, like that has been something that's always like for some men that they can check almost maybe like all the boxes, but that's like the main one and the biggest one that has always been like lacking, like if we're talking about that. So that's the number one for me. And then I would say somebody that has a someone who's very kind, right? Like their character has very good character, very kind. That is a big one to me too. I just think like that's just like, if you're just like a kind person, like I just think that makes somebody so much more attractive. So definitely that. And somebody too who has, I'm very much like a goal-oriented person. So somebody who is also like the same, and also, again, like kind of like what you're saying too, definitely can support me, because sometimes I have like a lot of crazy ideas, like support me in my crazy ideas. Also be there to like balance me out, because sometimes they're so crazy. But so I think that is a huge one, support, right? Like, of course, communication, like loyalty, all those things. But yeah, I think those ones like are my top three. Good family values too.
Yeah. So, faith. Let's just say you meet someone, perfect guy, looks good, he's kind, everything, but he's a straight atheist. You're not dealing with that?
No. So I have dated men that have not had the same faith as me, and it never works. Atheists, absolutely not. That would be like a hard no for me, like in the very beginning. But in the past, before, like I've never dated like an atheist before, but like in the past, I have, like I said, I have dated people who don't have the same faith as me, like maybe, come from like a different, like they believe in God or like, something different, but different faith. But yeah, that would be huge for me, because that's like one of my number one things, and that's very important to me. So yeah, the atheist would be like a hard no for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Like definitely I could have a person like that as a friend, but like somebody that like I want to have like a family with, have the same values and all of that, like that would be like an absolute no. Like I said, like they check every other box, but not that one. Like that's like the main one, which like I said in the past, like I have dated other people that don't have that box checked, but yeah, like that's like a really big one.
So that's something you bring up on the first date, pretty much? Or even before then, because it's such like a hard no.
I feel like it depends how I meet the person. So say if this is something that's like an online dating, right? So I feel like that can be like, that's usually like a question because it's on your profile usually.
Okay.
So it's like, can be a conversation starter there. And then if it's like somebody that I meet in person, like once we're like talking to each other and getting to know each other, like those are like something that I always like to like bring up to, to find out. Because it is a big one. And like I said, like it has been one that like I've still dated other guys, but like in the end it never, right, like it never works. And that's not something like, those can probably be somebody that like, short term, but like obviously too, like I want to get married. So it's almost like I'm wasting my time because I know like this is like a big thing for me, and this is somebody that I want to marry, somebody that has those same values. So, yeah.
And when you say someone who's kind, you just want someone who's like what do you mean kind? Someone who's not as argumentative? Do you want someone that you're not arguing with all the time, or someone who's just constantly, just saying nice things?
I just think like a genuinely kind person, like I don't know how to describe it, just somebody who is just genuinely like just like has like just like a good heart, like
All right.
good pure heart. Yeah, I just think that's a really attractive quality. Somebody that treats people and strangers nicely,
Okay.
like things
Without
like
even
that.
second guessing it, just like
Yeah, they're just naturally, that's who they are. And I just think like, I don't know, like sometimes like I don't know if you've ever done this, probably not, but like me, like, sometimes like if you're ever on the phone with like somebody like a representative or somebody, and they were just like so kind, and like I don't know, like for me that's just like I'm like, ooh, like I want to see what this person looks
yeah,
like,
I thought that was
because
just me.
they're
Yeah.
they're just so like I just like love them, like just by like, and so I just feel like that's like a big one for me, like it just makes somebody very attractive.
That's funny. I've done that before. I've been like on the phone with a Wells Fargo representative for like South Dakota or something, and they're just so nice, and they're just like, "Oh, where you from?" "I'm from South Dakota." I'm just like, "Oh wow, maybe I need to make a trip to South Dakota." Like, she's so nice. Like,
Right.
so I have been. What was your third thing again?
Well, I kind of gave more than 3, but so I said, somebody that supports me. Was that my third one?
Oh yeah, support you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, someone who supports me.
What do you mean by like support? Because you said you have a lot of crazy ideas.
So I mean, and not like crazy, but I mean just by like, because I am very much a goal-oriented person, and so I think somebody like to support me in my ideas, right? And yeah, like somebody that's there to support me, cheer me up. Like I said, like words of affirmation were like one of my love languages. So yeah, supports me in that area, like with my, my goals and my all of my ideas, all these things that I have, but also like somebody who can bring like a balance to it too, because when I say like crazy, I mean like sometimes I just like when I put my mind to something, it's like nothing's gonna get in my way of it, like I'm gonna do it until I get there. But then sometimes I like I'll just put sometimes too much on my plate too, so could like like somebody there that's like supporting me with that, but can also like point out like like the balance of it, right? So yeah.
Because I feel like support is also a big thing for me, and it's kind of like a deal breaker. Because even like with my ex, I remember that's when I had started like doing the podcast, doing like the streaming thing, and then there would be times where it was just like, oh, she's gonna go to work from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. So I'm like, all right, this is perfect. I can get my stuff in. So I'm like setting up everything. I'm about to like do my whole YouTube thing, and then she would come home early, and I was just like, oh wow, I guess I'm just not gonna do this today. And then she was just like, no, like I'm gonna just go in the room, blah blah. You just do your thing. And I was just like, all right, we're gonna try this. And then she's like, well, how long gonna take? And I was just like, you know what? Never mind. We're just not gonna do this today. I'll just do it tomorrow, whatever. And then she's like, no, just like go ahead and do it. It's just like I felt like it was being like fake supportive, because like what I'm trying to do, but you're also kind of not there, and it's just like such a red flag. I'm just like, ugh, because I need you to like be 100% supportive,
Right, like because putting like a time limit on it.
Yeah, I was just like that's not really being supportive, like.
Yeah.
Or there would be times where it was just like maybe I did do my podcast or whatever, but I'm editing at this point. Like there was literally times where I'll be editing, and then she would just be like, all right, I'm gonna go to the room. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna stay up a little bit and edit these videos. And she's like, all right, yeah, that's fine. And then like she would shut the door, and the door would be like, it'd be like 15 minutes. She was like, so like when you coming to sleep? And I was just like, when I'm done. And she was like, all right, cool. Then my phone vibrates. It's a text like I miss you. Are you gonna come to the bed? I'm just like, I guess I'll just edit tomorrow. Like,
yeah, that would be kind of annoying.
yeah.
But
I feel like it's like sometimes it's a distraction and it's not being supportive. So I feel like that's what I need. I need someone to understand my lifestyle and support what I do, and not always like need me there, because there's gonna be times where I need to focus on this.
Right. Yes, I agree with that. Right. Like having, again, like I think balance is like super important. Like as long as you're still giving that person like your time and attention, right? Like I think they should be able to respect that. As long as you're, like it's different if that's like all you're ever doing and like you're totally neglecting this person, but like, like you have to have time for that, like to go towards your goals or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is very important.
That's crazy.
So another question that I wanted to bring, because so last night I went out with one of my friends, and we both looked very good, right? And we were just like out having like a good time or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were sitting down.
Well, I know. Where did y'all go? I seen the pictures. I was like, what the heck? What is going on?
So we just went to the Durango. Have you heard of the Bel Air Lounge there?
Yeah. I went there for my birthday.
So that place is actually really nice. I really liked it. So I've been a couple of times to the Durango, and every time like I went, I was like, oh, I want to go in this lounge, and then I was never in the proper like dress code because it was just like going there like last minute or whatever. So this time like we planned for it, and I liked the lounge, very nice lounge. But yeah, you have to dress up for it, right? There is a dress code, and so we looked really good. We were very cute. We had a great time. But there was like this one point where we were like sitting at the table, and we, of course, like we are single, like we're looking around, right? Like, and then so we were talking about how we're like, oh my gosh, like this is so crazy. Like I brought it to her. I was like, is it just like me, or is this something that's happening more? I feel like something that's happening more often is because I feel like so men did approach us, but not like, like actually coming to like for times when we were like just at the table with like drinks or whatever. Not like, I feel like that wasn't happening. And I'm like, I feel like this is something that for me, that social media and like with the online dating has like taken away from that. Cause I'm like, are men just more, I don't know, like afraid of like to do that, or what is it? Because it felt like different. And she's like, yeah, like it feels like a lot of them like want us to come up to them. And then at one point there was this one time where we were like taking pictures, and my friend was taking the pictures of me, and so she had like the good view, but there was this guy that he was checking out. I was having pictures taken of me, so I didn't really have like a great view of him. But she was like, oh, this guy, like he keeps like checking, I don't know who was checking out one of us. He kept like kind of like peeking around or whatever. And I don't know like if he was like waiting for us to like finish with the pictures or like, or what, but like he was definitely like checking one of us out, but like never said nothing, like never like, like, so I'm like, what? This is just like so weird. Like, what is it? Like, I don't know. So I want to hear your point of view.
You feel like men aren't approaching women enough how they used to?
As much, yeah. I feel like it's not like I said, there were some men like when we were like, like walking towards like, like our table or whatever, but there was like times where we were like walking around, like we were on like, like not, they didn't have a dance floor, but like we were like in that area, like, the dance floor area, all that stuff. But it was more of like, just like people like that while we were passing by, and, but they were, not the ones that were it, but
yeah. I agree. I feel like social media has kind of ruined it a lot. And I go out periodically with my friends, and sometimes some of them, they go through the same thing where it's like, I feel like a lot of times people are afraid to get rejected in a public place. So they're just kind of like, and a lot of times, a lot of people I hang out with, they feel like they're not maybe drunk enough. They don't have enough liquid courage in them. So they're trying to get to that point so they can go talk to him, and then sometimes it ends up being too late. And I do feel like a lot of people, they're just afraid to be like, man, I want to go talk to her, but they look around like there's too many people. Like if I get a no, then my friends are gonna make fun of me.
Okay, so that is a good point, and I can see that point too, because like as the night went on, like you can kind of tell, right? Like when, people first get there, and like you said, like some people kind of need like that liquid courage or whatever. And I did actually mention that to her too, because I made a point. I was like, what, are they waiting until it's like 2 a.m. when they've had like 7 drinks in them? Like, like by that point, like I want to be at home in bed. Exactly. But I do think that's like a real thing too. And then because even just like I was kind of like, there was this one guy that he was very good looking, and it was just like him and his friend, and I was kind of like just like from a distance, and then like when we would like move around, like I was I was looking at them, like you can see one of the guys was definitely trying to like scope out, but then like they were always, every time like we made like loops or just like, went to the bathroom or wherever we were going, like they just sat there the entire night and they never moved, and it was just always just them too. So I'm just like, and this was a really attractive guy too. One of the two were like really attractive. But so I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Was his friend?
The friend actually, he wasn't bad looking. I did the other one I thought was way more attractive, but the friend actually was not bad looking either. They were both very attractive, good looking men. But
so how would you like to be approached? You want them to like send a drink over? You want them to just come sit at the table with y'all? How does that?
So just like, okay. So I feel like sometimes the best way is like if you're, at a bar and somebody comes up and like you can start the conversation there, or even just like when you're just like sitting down. I mean, I can see how that can be a little bit more intimidating, I guess, for a man. I don't know if that's the best word, but like when you're sitting at like a table and it's just like you and your friend, and then for somebody to come up. But yeah, I think anyway, like that, as long as like, I feel like as long as it's not yeah, I feel like any of those ways are good. And like, just like I said, when we were like after we were done taking pictures, we were kind of just like over there like by the fire pit, like just like laughing, like having fun and all that. Like I think like that's a great time too, unless, I don't know, from a man's point, is that like, oh, like they're having like too much fun to like come in, or like what? I don't know. What's your take on that?
No, like for me, I'm always gonna like, especially if I see two ladies, and I'm probably gonna only wait to see if they're like waiting for their man, to see if there's anyone coming. And after like 5, maybe 10 minutes tops, if I just see that, oh, they're single, I'm just going to go up to the table. I'm going to go up to the table. I'm going to ask how y'all's night is. I'm going to ask, maybe I'll offer a drink. I'll kind of play it by ear. But yeah, I don't care about getting rejected in front of multiple people, because I truly believe in, like, you got to take your shot. Like, you don't ever want to like miss a shot and be like, dang, I should have, because I've had those regrets. I'm like, man, I should have. Talk to that lady. So especially like if it's like, oh, you said that one guy's with his friend, like we're going to 2-man. It's like, oh, we're going to 2-man. Like, let's go over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I was going to ask too. That was going to be my follow-up question, because I was going to ask, okay, do you usually, is it you going up there most of the time always by yourself, or do you, like, if you're with a friend, like, are you going to bring like your friend along with you, or like what is it from like, what is
like,
it
like if there's, let's just say, because a lot of times this happens too, like let's just say there's 3 of us, there's 2 of y'all. One of my homies is probably like in a relationship anyway. So me and the single homie, we're going to go in a 2-man. We're going to go over there, and then I'm going to bring my friend, and then I'm going to wing him. He's going to wing me. We're going to kind of gauge to see who likes who more, and then we're diving in. And then I've gone, like, I remember I was with the homegirls one night, and they're just like my coworkers, and we're at the hookah lounge, and there was these 2 girls at a table, and obviously, like, I don't have anyone with me. I still went up there by myself. And I was just trying to feel like which one was feeling me more, and then got their information and moved on from there. But me, I just feel like I agree. Sometimes with the younger generation too, they're just so afraid to just go shoot their shot. And it's just like, who cares if you get a little embarrassed? Who cares if like people see you get rejected? It's like, what if you actually pull through? Then you're going to look, you know what I mean? You're going to look like.
That's very true. Yeah, no. And then like, so another thing, I feel like a thing that is for women, I'm speaking about for myself, but like my friend and I were also talking about this too, is like how you said, like you were with like your coworkers or whatever. Sometimes it's kind of confusing. Like I feel like for a woman, like you really do have to like definitely like keep your eye on that, like, because you're like, oh, like are they like just friends? Are they a couple? Because there was this one guy that he was very handsome, this light skinned guy that was like at the table next to us, and there was like a table of 4, and we were kind of like for a minute, like we couldn't tell if they were like, if they had just met these people or if they were like a couple. And for the longest time, I thought that they had just like, it was like the 2 girls, and then the guys were just coming up to like talk to them or whatever, because the way they were sitting like so far apart and just like the interaction. But then like later as the night went on, like we seen it, so that was like a little awkward. But we were kind of like keeping an eye out like for a while, because this one guy was really handsome. And but so I feel like for women, like for me, like that's like you really do have to like look, because like I'm not gonna go up to this guy, right? But like how do you know if it's like a coworker or they're with? So you like actually have to really pay attention to that. But that's like something that I'm not going to like go up to somebody,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
See, I've been out recently, and I'll see like where I kind of get the vibe where, oh, they're probably just coworkers or anything. So sometimes I'll go up and be like, oh, hey, is this you? And then he'll be like, oh no, that's just the homegirl. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I'll just like shoot my shot.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just like you just can't be afraid, because you never know. I personally never want to miss out on the one. You just never
Okay.
know. So it's just like I'm always gonna go up and attempt to talk to them.
All right. So what about your, I guess, your guy friends? Like, so you're saying that you will more than likely always go up and not miss your shot. What about from your guys? And this is going to be a question that I'm going to ask other guys that come on, other men on the podcast.
So
I want
a lot of like, for instance, I got my main group of friends. I feel like growing up, we were never shy, like ever. But a lot of times when I'm with my coworkers or when I'm with like, because we all grow. Like it's like a branch. We all branch off and get other friends, and I feel like sometimes those friends, they're like a little bit more shy, or sometimes they just rely on like me too much, you know, because it's just like they know that I'm gonna go. Like I remember this was years ago. We had a table at Chateau at the time. It was like a nightclub, and I just remember like I'm there, and it's a lot of us. It's like 6 other guys there, and then this girl walks up, and then they're just like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous, like she's beautiful. I'm like, oh, who's gonna go talk to her? And then they all just like, nah, we're good. I was like, why y'all being like shy, blah blah blah. So then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go talk to her. So I went over there, talked to her, and I'm not gonna lie, by the time I got over to her, she was turning down 2 other guys. So I was like, well, this is gonna be it's gonna be a challenge. But it's funny, my best friend, my girl best friend, who I always talk about, was there. She can confirm the story. But yeah, I went up to talk to her. I was like, oh, we got a table, you should come have a drink. So I'm not gonna lie, she came to the table, I poured her a drink, she sat there for 2 minutes, and then she left. Everyone at the table laughed at me. They laughed at me. It was like, wow, she only wanted a free drink, blah blah. So I sat there and I was like, she got me. And then literally 3 minutes later, she came back. So I'm sorry, I had to take the phone call. And then she chilled there the whole night and got information and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone was just like, so you never know.
Yeah, no, that is true. And I was like, I was thinking in my head as you were telling the story, but like I was thinking like, oh, like what if you would have like went back at that point when you would have seen her turning down the other 2 guys. So like it was good that you still, even though she turned down the other 2 guys, that you still like went for it and like shot your shot, because maybe those 2 just weren't her type. So
100%. And you never know what a girl's type is. Like you just never know.
Very true.
And yeah, it was just like, you're right. Like what if I was just like, oh yeah, she already turned down 2 guys, like I'm good, and it would have never happened. So you just never know.
That's true. Well, I'm glad that you're like that. And so another thing that I wanted to ask too is like, do you think it is for you, or just like in general, do you think it's harder, like when you see like a group of girls, is it harder for you to go up and approach one that you're into?
When it's a group, I'll be honest, that's the more like nerve-wracking thing when there's a group. But still, I don't mind. I'll go up to a group. It doesn't matter. I'll go up to a group. One of the hardest things, but one of my favorite things is like, let's just say if there's a group of girls, or if let's just say there's 5 people, there's 2 girls, 2 guys, and another girl, then it's so easy for me. I'm always like, oh, who's third wheeling it here? Like I'll just go up there and say that. But a group of women can sometimes be intimidating. But I feel like, let's just say if you're by yourself or you're with 2 guys, or let's just say it's me and a homie, or it might just be me by myself. If you go up to a group of, let's just say 5 women, I feel like that as long as you're confident, they kind of respect that more. Like, oh, he wasn't intimidated by all 5 of us. This guy is confident.
Definitely. I can agree with that, because like, yeah, sometimes like you might not be into them, but just the fact that they came up, because it does take a lot, right? When you come up to, whether you're with a group or just, one other person, like it does take a lot for somebody to come up. So like, I respect that. Like I'll have like a conversation with them. Like I'm not going to just like, oh, like turn around or whatever, turn them down completely. But yeah, so I do respect that.
Yeah, but I feel like social media, like these dating apps and everything, I feel like it's steered people away from doing the old-fashioned way, because like, oh, I can just go on this app and talk to people. And I feel like sometimes, like, especially, you gotta realize there's so many people that are younger that didn't really have like their party phase, that were like, I call them COVID babies, where they were just stuck in the house. They don't know how to talk to women because they weren't able to go out and do what we call like normal, like buying a girl a drink or stuff like that. And they're stuck to these apps, so they just don't know how. And maybe hopefully this helps more people realize like that's what women want, is for them to just be approached.
Yeah, hopefully, like, drop it in the comments. We want to hear from you in the comments. At least I do. I want to hear your thoughts. Like, if you're watching this, from some of the men out there, definitely want to hear from you on this topic. So definitely drop those comments.
Speaking of comments, we talk about the giveaway.
Yes.
All right. So speaking of the comments, we are doing a giveaway. So we're gonna give $100 away. We're gonna go live on the Two Sides Same Mic Instagram, December 7th. On our Two Sides Same Mic Instagram channel. Make sure you follow the Instagram channel. The only rules to enter you in the giveaway is going to be to like, comment your favorite part of this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you will be in a drawing. Me and Leah will go live December 6th for the $100. Oh, 7th. December 7th for the $100. And we are going to do it live. So you'll see it live.
Yes, December 7th, we're going to do live on Instagram. We, on the Two Sides Same Mic Instagram, will be picking the winner of that. So definitely subscribe to the podcast if you're not already. Follow the Two Sides Same Mic and comment on the video.
Comment. Tell us your favorite part of the video and questions that you want to hear us talk about on the next podcast. There's always two sides to every story.